Hey FA Nation, Justin Fensterman here, and with 4 games on tap for today's DFS NBA playoff action, let's talk about some of the value on FanDuel and DraftKings. It's today's DFS NBA value video here on FantasyAlarm.com. At point guard, Malcolm Brogdon. If Marcus Smart sits, a lot of the DFS focus will shift to Derek White, but Brogdon's usage also increases to above 25%, and he averages 1.2 fantasy points per minute with Smart off the floor. Whether Smart is in or out, Brogdon has given us a good return on his DFS value the last couple of games of this series. Brogdon is coming off his best scoring and shooting game of this series. He took 15 shots, and not only did he score 17 points, but he also contributed 5 dimes in Game 3 and hit 50% of his three-pointers. Let's not forget that Brogdon shot nearly 48% from the field and 44% from the outside throughout the regular season. He should play around 30 minutes even if Smart ends up giving it a go. At shooting guard, Malik Monk. Monk's coming off a poor shooting outing from Game 3, but the Warriors were a bottom 10 team at defending shooting guards, and Monk had 2 games in this series in which he scored at least 18 points. We should see him take 10 to 13 shots today. Before Game 3, he was hitting more than 42% of his threes, and with it being a fast-paced series, Monk should be featured, especially when the Kings are on transition. He's also dropped 3 or more dimes in 2 of his last 3 and grabbed 3+ boards in all 3 games of this series. Everyone has an off-shooting game, and let's see if Monk can bounce back. The environment for this game, outside of it being a road game for Sacramento, is a good one for Monk, and we should see him take more shots, and the pace favors the Kings. At small forward, Bogdan Bogdanovic. Even though he comes off the bench, Bogdanovic has been sneaky good when it comes to his production throughout this series. He's been a 4-category producer for the most part. We saw him take double-digit shots in 2 of 3 games in this series, and he's hit at least 63% of his shots and over 57% of his threes in his last 2 battles. He scored 15 points or more over his last couple of outings. Bogdanovic has been helpful on defense, recording 5 steals and 3 blocks in this series. He remains cheap and has given us a 5x return on DraftKings in every game of this battle in the playoffs, and we should see him take 8 to 11 shots in this game. At power forward, Andrew Wiggins. The Kings rank 23rd in the league at guarding small forwards, but because of his position flexibility on FanDuel and DraftKings, we're able to also start him at power forward. Wiggins has logged no fewer than 30 DraftKings points, and his shooting has gotten better and better throughout the series. He's taken no fewer than 16 shots in the playoffs, and he just hit 50% of his shots as a whole and 50% of his three-pointers in Game 3. Even with Draymond Green back, Wiggins will still be featured plenty and play 33 to 38 minutes. He's also pulled down 5 boards or more in his last 2 and blocked 5 shots in this series so far. After notching his second straight 20-plus point game, let's go back to him as the shot volume and playing time continue to be there for Wiggins. Finally at center, Draymond Green. Just like we did with Wiggins, Green's flexibility allows us to start him at center on both sites, as Clint Capella, who is cheaper, doesn't get a lot of minutes and hasn't been that productive in his series, and it's really hard to trust Mitchell Robinson to produce. Green is back from his suspension with fresh legs and should play around 25 minutes in this game. Green has dropped no fewer than 5 dimes in this series against the Kings, and he's totaled 3 swipes in 2 games he was active for. He's a more productive rebounder and playmaker, meaning assist producer, at home than on the road. Green averages nearly a fantasy point per minute. And that is your DFS NBA value video, FA Nation. The plays are out, but still watch regarding the injuries. A few players still in question for their games. Let's get it and get those victories.